Progress.
Everybody, welcome to That's Good Stuff, our show where we take deep dives into pop culture's newest releases. And the new release in January, where it's kind of a desert for new releases, is Echo from Disney Plus and from Marvel TV. This is a continuation of Hawkeye. So if you saw, I know Jared saw it. I'm guessing Thomas and Michael did not see Hawkeye.
What? Hawkeye's great.
You
I love
saw it?
Hawkeye. Yeah.
Okay.
Hawkeye's
I
so good.
have. We'll get to bonus stuff on that.
Okay.
I was on Hulu and is like, "Do you want to watch Echo?" I was like, "Nope, I already watched you."
It is playing on Hulu and on Disney Plus because they need the viewership.
Desperate.
Yeah. So this was supposed to be the return of the mature Marvel side. If you remember, they're trying to harken back to the old Daredevil days, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, the Defenders, as they were called.
Jessica Jones.
So this series is 5 episodes long. It was originally supposed to be 8, and then they cut it down to 6, and they got rid of
milk it that long.
And they cut a whole episode out of it. I'm interested to see or to know what that freaking episode was they cut out of it. So it is 5 episodes, and we are going to go through the whole series because we watched the whole series just for you.
The episode was a biscuits episode, just about biscuits.
Just about biscuits.
Biscuits.
I would have liked that episode, I think.
I did too. It was like the only really good one, but we'll get into that.
So episode 1 is called Chafa. I'm probably going to pronounce all these wrong, but I think it's called Chafa. Each episode in the series is named after one of Echo's ancestors, except for like her. She's the last episode. So it's kind of a lineage. First, let's talk about this episode first, then we'll go back. Okay, so episode 1.
Don't cry, Thomas. We'll get through this.
Yeah, we'll get through it.
I don't know if we can, man.
Episode 1 starts with kind of a origin story or a creation myth of the Choctaw tribe, I guess. I don't know if it's... I don't know.
Choctaw.
I don't know like their mythology at all. So I don't know if this is part of it or they made this up for the show. But we get naked people on a terrible looking set. And it's like the story of the cave, except for there's people instead of just one person. And she's Echo's ancestor, and she gets the people out of the cave, and they're all muddy, but then the mud comes off of them, and they're born. I guess that's what it's trying to tell us.
Are being born.
Yeah, exactly.
The Choctaw birthing pits.
They were orcs. I didn't like that scene just because it didn't look very good. It looked very like
gross. I'm
Is
sorry,
it?
but
This was the one episode I tried to watch at work before realizing, because I forgot that she's deaf. And so there's a lot of sign language. And then I realized, I can't watch any more of the show because I'm going to miss literally everything if I try and watch it work. And so I didn't really notice it was that bad because it was on my iPad way away from me while I was working on a machine.
there's like these swirly things that go on her hands, and that's like their powers.
Yeah, that
I guess.
didn't look great. That was very.
That's all Marvel powers now. It's just glowy hands.
Yeah.
Just glow, sir.
So then we go to the more modern day, not modern, but it's when Echo or Maya is her name. She's a little girl, and they're kind of having a nice little family dinner time, and they're camping out. The girls are camping out in the front yard like you do. It starts raining. They forgot the ice cream, so the mom's gonna
What?
They
Sorry.
forgot the ice cream.
What mom is like, yeah, let's go right now?
I know,
that's
no
not
mom
happening.
does that.
They're like, we're done. Good night.
We'll do that tomorrow.
Maybe it was like the kid's birthday or something, but I think they were just eating together.
Yeah, they just want ice cream.
not just that, but they're also like out in the boonies. They're not even like in town, so they had to like drive into town to get the ice cream. So
Maybe they know a guy.
Maybe they know a guy.
got the
that was the most unbelievable part. Not the powers, not
Going for
the
ice cream that late.
nothing else.
not the car that comes out of literal nowhere, and because it's a across what do you call it? A T section in the middle of literal nowhere, and somehow they still.
What also confused me, this might have been me watching it while I was at work and trying to do stuff, but it seemed like the scene was showing the two people that had left gonna hit each other. Am I losing my mind on
Yeah,
that?
the
Yeah. I was
like-
grandparents.
Yeah, I was like, did they hit them or no? They didn't hit them, and then I was like, okay, they didn't hit them, but it just seemed like they were gonna hit them. It was very
That would
strange.
have been tragic.
Yeah, it's like
I didn't-
I thought we were getting the ice cream. You were getting the ice cream.
And then the
Um,
woodpecker like flies by the grandmother. She's like, a woodpecker.
Oh yeah.
It's like, okay,
Okay.
cool.
There's a lot of it introduces a lot of the Native American actors. Most of them you probably recognize from other shows that deal with Native Americans. I'm thinking like Longmire, two guys from there, and
Graham Greene, who's like
Graham
in
Greene.
every Native
Yeah.
American production ever.
I think probably 7 to 10 cast members were in Reservation Dogs. There was a lot in
Yeah.
there.
Man, I was enjoying Longmire, and then my family just went on without me.
I know that's true. We didn't think you
Man.
liked it. You don't usually like westerns.
Jeez, Jared.
I like long.
Me?
Yeah, you. You should have been jumping from the rooftops, excited about it.
So like Thomas alluded to, there's a car accident which shows how Maya loses her leg and her mom loses her life, and then the dad decides to move Maya away. They got to go to New York, and then we get kind of a recap of Hawkeye, what she was doing during Hawkeye. She's a kid. She meets the kingpin, like her dad's working for the kingpin, so
It's her uncle.
she
Oh, is that how she knows him?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, how is this a thing?
she's in karate class, and Kingpin likes to pick her up from karate, I guess.
And get ice cream.
Get ice cream. We
You
get
gotta make sure you get ice cream or Kingpin gets mad.
So she grows up. The Kingpin makes her kind of a hit woman. I don't know what qualified her for that, but he saw potential for some murdering, I guess, in her. So we see her go to like her first job, and we get the big cameo for this series, and that's Daredevil. Back from, well, he was in She-Hulk and
Spider-Man.
But he's Charlie. What's his name? Charlie
Cox.
Cox.
You
Okay.
just made me say that word by itself, but
Well, her last name's Cox too. The
the
main,
main actress?
characters.
No. I
Yeah.
know that.
So yeah, Daredevil. They fight. It does not look great.
Oh,
I
I
had
thought
the
it did on my iPad. My bad.
well, not on TV.
Yes.
So, we're talking about the Daredevil fur, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess
This
it's
is
hard.
probably the best. Sorry, this is probably the best fight scene in the series, and even this is only like 30 seconds, I think. Like maybe.
Has this Daredevil ever had the one up in a fight? Or
Mm.
has clear, like,
In
An
She-Hulk.
advantage.
yeah.
In She-Hulk, he was kicking butt.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so, probably.
Because when I watched Daredevil, he got his butt kicked a lot.
He's like Batman in the Dark Knight.
Mhm.
He's just
Yeah.
like,
Because
oh,
he's
getting bit
he's
by
still
Rottweilers.
human. Yeah.
And he's blind.
Oh, yeah, he's still human, but did you see Ben Affleck's Daredevil? Seamless. Untouched.
He eats aspirin, Jared. He doesn't swallow that.
The fight, there was a lot of where you can tell they weren't connecting, especially
Yeah.
from Daredevil to her.
There were some
There's a-
weird cuts too.
Yeah,
Like,
there
in a
was, like-
30-second fight, it's like they're wanting to do a oneer,
Mhm.
but every time it like transitions from like a fence post, like between the fence posts, you can tell there's a cut there. I'm like, why are they doing this? Like, this is weird.
And they had a lot
There's-
of the like side goons that were just waiting for their turn too, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Like it's just too many. Like if you're gonna have that, just do a little more close-ups. You don't see them like my turn and then go.
Yeah. There's a scene where she kicks Daredevil, and it looks like she doesn't do like anything to him. Like it would just bounce off of him, but then all of a sudden he like jumps back. It's
Huh.
weird. So they fight. Daredevil like drops a shelf on her and then disappears forever. Uh,
Let's shelf this fight, and then runs off.
there's a part. Trying to think back. So they show the part where she shoots the Kingpin, like in Hawkeye, and she gets wounded at one point while trying to escape, and she goes back to Oklahoma on a motorcycle, but they show her wound. It's like really,
It's real
a big
bad.
gash.
Yeah.
And she somehow drives all the way to Oklahoma from New York
Well,
with
she-
that
they said it
open
was a
gash.
they said it was a bullet, wasn't it?
I think
Yeah,
it
didn't
was
she
a
get
bullet,
shot?
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she somehow gets all the way to Oklahoma with that gash. Makes it home to Biscuits.
What a character that guy was.
Oh, biscuits.
That's her cousin. And she knows she can push him around because he's Biscuits. Yeah, she stays at his place. Anything else in episode 1 you guys have notes?
From this first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when Kingpin's like, yeah, no one's ever lasted as long against
yeah.
Daredevil. I'm just like, there are plenty of people who have lasted longer than Daredevil. Like
Punisher kicked
most
his
of the
butt.
hand. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, to Oklahoma City from New York City, I'm just saying Oklahoma City. That's a 23-hour drive without stopping. There's no way.
And she did not patch that wound till she got
No,
there.
till she
wasn't
got
going the
there.
Speed limit, guys.
I think that's another thing of like people not realizing how big America is.
America is, yeah.
Because it looks like she just drove there overnight. But that is not possible. Maybe that's part of her superpowers that we don't know.
Maybe. She phased.
I guess we'll get into that about what are her superpowers.
pushing trains.
Episode 2 is Lowak, I think. And we go back to 1200 AD in Alabama. And they're
Oh.
having
With
a good.
the old Alabama pyramid.
The Pyramid of Alabama.
And they're having a good old mini lacrosse because they don't have the big sticks; they just have the mini lacrosse sticks.
Can we talk about this sporting
Yeah.
event?
Yes, we can.
So one team is a bunch of average dad and mom bods, and the other team is a bunch of Adonis men that is like, wow,
The main guy that they bring out. is
Yeah.
This is just a recreation of the Road to El
And-
Dorado scene.
and I thought it was just him that was buff, but his whole team
They're all
jacked.
gods.
They're professionals. Yeah.
Yeah.
And somehow the ancestor wins because she has powers, I guess.
Cheated.
Okay.
Cheated.
Let's
Cheat.
let's also get this because I asked Jared about this. I'm like, were those chilies that were drying out in the Alabama
Oh, yeah.
sun? I'm like, I don't.
Ristas.
Yeah, I was like, those shouldn't be there, right? Like that's way too far for chilies. And also, why was there a Viking in the middle of Alabama?
Oh yeah, that guy that was watching.
Yeah, I'm like, if this is a Viking, he's like 900 miles like to south and like 500 to 700 miles to west. Like, he just get lost in Finland. He's like, oh well, I'm in Alabama now.
I guess it was the Olympics that year, and everyone traveled there. The New
Yeah,
Mexicans
so-
brought the chili reefs
Russians
To
were about to show up.
To the Great Pyramid of Alabama.
Yeah. Mini lacrosse train. So there's a scene where, yeah, so she's gonna. I guess she has the idea to take over the Kingpin's turf,
Yeah, that's never
or
really
send them send them a
given
message
clearly
or
of what her,
something.
why she wants to do that. I'm gonna be in
so-
charge now for no reason, but I'm gonna.
I'm gonna be in charge in Oklahoma, but I'm gonna attack New York from Oklahoma. It's like, you know,
Give your location away immediately.
yeah, it's like you're already in New York.
I don't
Like,
see the issue, Thomas. It's like a 2-hour drive.
it's a 2-hour
That's
drive.
my
I mean,
other question. Why is Kingpin working out of Oklahoma?
He's everywhere, man.
He's everywhere. It's just a branch.
Yeah, branch king. The Oklahoma
Also-
branch.
it's time for a queen. guys.
Oh, that was
That was a
pretty harsh.
horrible lie.
Yeah. Oh man. So there's a big train action set. Biscuits drives her to the train, and she's like, "I'm getting off here." Okay. And he's got to follow in the truck.
What was the name of his dog? Like Bobby Lee or something like that?
Bobby Lee.
Billy Jack. Or
Billy
something?
Jack.
He's
I
got
love
a
that.
dog.
Also like how he's like, I've crashed it a few times because
I
I'm not
didn't-
good at
Understand the part with the truck where he's like driving on the wrong side?
because it's a postal delivery truck.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's why I was like laughing because he's like,
He's like, I can't. He says like, I can't. I've never got used to driving on the wrong side or something like that. I'm like, why? Wouldn't you just get used to it after a while?
Yeah.
So the train thing, Biscuits had bought her some stuff from the grandfather's kind of secondhand store. He has surveillance cameras and stuff
Tiny
like that.
cameras.
Yeah.
Big as a woodpecker's tongue or something like that, or a hummingbird's tongue.
Something like that. So she uses that stuff to access the Kingpin's cargo, and she puts a bomb in there, and she leaves.
Also, she gets her foot caught between. Okay, one, I'm not sure how that happened because it looked like the car came uncoupled,
Yeah.
and when it came back, I'm just like,
yeah, that's gonna kill
It
you.
would just hit
Kill you.
It would just hit itself. It's like, how did it even reach? I guess you're.
Well, the reason they did that because she like tears off her jeans just so it could remind you that she's an amputee. Because this show really wants you to remember that and takes the time to always remind you that.
is the character an amputee, or they just do that for the actress?
the
no, the
actresses.
actress is
Okay, I knew she was, but I didn't know if the actual character was from the.
Yeah,
comics.
she was never an actress before, but they needed an amputee, Native American, so she filled
Who's
the
also
role.
deaf.
Yeah, so she got casted for all her attributes.
No, don't say it, Thomas.
Powers. Why do I have powers written down? I guess
She
she.
used it to push the cart back. That's the
Yeah.
first time she used
That
it.
what happened?
So in Hawkeye, they never show that she has powers.
I didn't even remember in Hawkeye until like
Yeah,
I
she
saw that scene where she shot him. I was like, oh yeah.
She wasn't a great character in that. She's just kind of a minion that's
It was-
like a.
She was more rounded, I think, in Hawkeye. Like, I understood her motivations a lot more.
She's just angry all the time, and
Did a cool introductory. I liked her introduction in Hawkeye, where she's listening to the bass from
Oh yeah.
the speaker. That was
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
cool. But then she doesn't like music or anything bass related in this show.
true.
She puts on Rob Zombie. How dare you, Thomas?
Oh, that's right. Dracula was playing.
Yeah, in
Oh,
Hawkeye
gosh.
they didn't
That
allude to
scene.
any powers. In the comics, she is kind of like Taskmaster. She can copy any fighting style that she sees.
Well, And that's also how people don't know she's deaf, really, because she can read lips really well.
yeah.
And she's able to talk the same way because she knows exactly how to
Hmm.
move your mouth. So
That's kinda
people
cool.
like, you're deaf. She's like, yeah, I know exactly how to move my mouth to copy the sound. So
So they totally admit that stuff in this
Yeah.
show, though. They don't.
oh no, they did see in karate class where the fat kid put too much weight on the front foot. There you go. 'Cause
But she
that's how all fighting works. Is hey, got too
She-
much
She
weight.
watched Invincible. Remember that scene where he teaches them about the weight on? So,
I thought you meant the cartoon. I was like, he teaches him that?
Okay, we talked about her goofy sidekick Biscuits.
Goofy.
Yeah, she goes back to Grandpa because she needs a new prosthetic. He's like, I can do it.
That was a
Nice.
cute scene. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
liked
I
that scene.
can
All the scenes are cute.
fix it.
Also, are the grandparents split up now?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
is that,
yeah,
that's
they
what
are.
happened.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay.
it's sad.
So, later on, spoilers. They hint at
I
getting
mean,
They got
It's
hot with
hinted
that
at.
sewing machine.
Yeah. Mhm.
That was the
I'm gonna
episode that was
stitch a
cut.
few other things together. If you know what I'm saying.
That was the episode that was
Ew.
cut. It was just a very long love
Just a-
thing.
Ew.
Oh my god.
Super gratuitous. That's where the M rating came from. Was that
Yeah.
scene.
Oh my god.
It's like that. What's that Danny DeVito scene in Die Hard 5? He's like, I either finance this and we have a full hardcore sex scene, or you don't get the money. All right. Okay.
So they cut the scene out, but they forgot to lower the rating for the
Mm.
series.
Did anybody even cuss in this show? Like,
No, it was all violence,
Yeah.
but even that wasn't that
even
bad.
that wasn't that bad. Like,
We'll talk about one violence scene in a minute. She shoots at a swing set because it made her mad.
Mhm.
Jared obviously didn't remember.
I remember now.
Okay. She's a very angry person, kind of, I guess. More grumpy than angry, but okay.
just a grump.
She was
Yeah, she's
angry at
got
Hawkeye, and this she's just grumpy.
she got that resting grump face. Just
And then we go to episode 3, and it's called Tuklo. And this episode starts with a black and white flashback done kind of an old.
I actually enjoyed this flashback probably the most because
Yep.
honestly, more
It was-
happened in this flashback than most of the series. So
I didn't like it just because it was so goofy.
I like the goofiness of it. But I was like, oh, that's
I know,
kinda
but this
cool.
is supposed to be like MA
Yeah.
Marvel, and then you get this kind of goofy.
We're not getting that. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
We're not getting that.
It's only MA, and they must have paid for that. So yeah, they do the black and white flashback. One of her ancestors wants to be kind of their lawmen. They had lawmen that they used, and she wants to be that, but they're like, no, you're a woman.
She could throw a stick real well.
And she's like, oh darn it. I forgot about that. And then
oh shucks.
but then they get attacked, and it turns out she has the power of guns. And she shoots all the bad guys. And
She
they're like,
had the
"Yeah."
high ground, Joseph.
She did. And she enjoyed murdering those men because she had a smile on her face the whole time. We get a scene with Grandpa and Grandma. He's like, maybe you should be there for her because she's kind of grumpy.
Talk about resting grump face. Good lord. That grandma's never happy. Like ever.
She didn't
So
get her
this
ice
is the
cream.
scene that takes place mostly at a roller rink. So there's like Kingpin has another guy on the inside, who's kind of a druggy punk, wimpy
Sprays
looking
shoes for a
dude.
living.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna kidnap her and kidnap her cousin, who she hasn't talked to yet, even though her cousin wants to talk.
The other cousin,
Mm-hmm.
not biscuits.
Not Biscuits, the other cousin.
Actually, I didn't realize they were cousins. I thought they were just friends.
Really?
There's a whole
She-
thing in the beginning where she's
Yeah.
like, no, we're cousins. And then
Remember,
she's
And
like,
it-
no,
I
we're
was at work,
sisters.
remember?
Oh, yeah.
And it didn't look like she aged at all. She still looked like a kid. Even though she's like a firefighter, and she doesn't look like a firefighter at all.
She was an EMT. She wasn't a firefighter.
Oh, she EMT. I thought she was a firefighter.
I thought she was a firefighter.
She was hanging out with the firefighters, but then she
Mm.
jumps in the ambulance. So,
Okay.
you know,
I guess that's a little more likely.
believable?
Yeah,
probably.
than a firefighter.
Considering she was like five, like
Yeah, she's real
zero, and weighed like 110 pounds, maybe. It's like, well, that wouldn't go well.
So the bad guys capture her to lure in Echo, and Echo's like mad at her for getting captured, and they got to get out. And she's like, "I'm gonna punch you." So she punches her cousin, and they're like, "They're fighting, or separate them." I don't remember too much about. Oh yeah, so there's another bad guy introduced, who you guys probably recognize. But you can't probably picture him in anything because that's what we did. We're like, we know that guy, but we don't know what he was in. So he's the bad guy that comes down from New York, and he's like, "Where is she? We'll pay you," and stuff like that. Not getting the answers he likes, and he shoots roller rink guy, and he must have been eating a gusher because blood just like right out of his mouth. So
his
that's like
eyes.
the huh?
You're like
in
going
his
through his
eyes?
eyes too. It's just like, "Ugh."
So that's the violent scene for this series is his death because
The
it just
entire
lingers
series.
on his blood. Yeah, lingers on his blood the entire time. And then the cousin kind of freaks out when she sees her. She's like, even though she's an EMT, so
Even though
she
she's an
see that-
EMT, yeah.
see that all the time. So there's a big fight at the roller rink. Echo,
Kids.
I know, she gets thrown into like a ton of pinball machines. They keep throwing her like glass and stuff like that.
It's weird that like these mobsters want to come from New York to like kill her, right?
Hmm.
But they're less of a threat than those two overweight white women are in the roller rink. Like those
Don't mess with
those two like trailer trash women are like the antagonist of this episode. Like, but they get more screen time. They're more threatening. I think they have more lines too, honestly.
So she beats them up and they leave. And then she gets a new prosthetic. The grandpa delivers it and she's like, what the heck? This is too gaudy. I can't wear this. And he's like, I made it for you. And she's like, okay, I'll wear it. So she puts that on. It works perfectly. And then we get a shot of the back of Kingpin's head, and he's like, I'll do it myself. And then we go to episode 4, which is I can't say it's Tula. So we get a scene with the ice cream man. Young Maya wants an ice cream, but this guy will not sell ice cream to people who don't talk. And he's like, use your words.
What's wrong with you, child?
She's like, dang, I just want an ice cream. So she goes back to the Kingpin's limo all sad, and the Kingpin's like, hold on. And then he walks down the street, beats the crap out of the ice cream man. But Maya's there, and he's like, oh shoot. This is awkward.
He's like, I need a new suit. I don't want Maya to see me like this.
But then Maya like runs up to the ice cream man and kicks him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're mean. So that's where she learned to kill, I guess, is ice cream man.
You killed the ice cream
Don't
man first, Maya.
Take ice cream from children. Their parents die, the ice cream man himself dies. Don't do it.
So
He's
we
like,
get
no, you killed the ice cream man. He's like, no, you dealt the finishing blow.
Okay, so it moves forward a little bit, and Maya's older, and Kingpin tells her like, you've learned your final lesson or something like that. They're having dinner. Turns out they have dinner like every Sunday night. And there's an interpreter there for him because he never learned to sign. It's just too hard for him.
Yeah. And then okay. What was the point of this part? Like, okay, I get it. Like, oh, this is like your final or final lesson, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. But then he just like kills the interpreter. She's like, I won't say
No need
anything.
for
I'm
it
just,
anymore.
well, I'm just like, okay, so are you just not going to talk to her anymore? Like Maya anymore?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
cool. Like, you're done. We're not going to talk anymore. Bye.
We don't need that
I
middle person
things.
anymore. So I was watching this and I turned away for some reason. I was cooking or something. And then all I hear is like, no, don't do it or something like that. And then someone gets killed. And I'm like, who the heck got killed? And I tried to rewind it and I still couldn't figure it out. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm guessing it's the interpreter because it was a woman.
Yeah.
So
Now, the way that they set up the shot was kind of cool. I'll admit
Yeah,
that.
the
Where she's
plastic
walking
everywhere.
toward the plastic. I'm like, oh, that's a cool shot. But I was like, why are they killing her? Like, isn't this like his only way to talk to her? Because
yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like,
He's not learning sign language for some reason for like 20 something years, even though apparently he talks to her all the time.
They have dinner every Sunday night.
Every Sunday night. It's like, okay, cool. So
I think
no?
he was like, I don't need an interpreter anymore. We can just communicate with our love or something.
Well, he was saying like, if I remember, it was like something like she was done with her lesson. They weren't going to see each other for a while. So I don't know if I don't know if he planned on having the eye things ready for the next time. That's kind of how I interpreted it. Was he planned on having the stupid
Well,
vision?
because we go back to Oklahoma and Kingpin.
Eyeballs.
comes to Oklahoma, arrives at her place.
Poor guy.
He's like, wait, before we talk or anything, I'm gonna stuff this contact into your eye.
The way he does it too, he's just like, it looked like he was like, cut your nose.
I would not let that man come close to me with his finger in my eyeball. He's too large.
But the way that he just does it was so awkward because he had both arms up like this. He's just like, there you go.
So the contact is a device that lets her see sign language as it's spoken. It's kind of a cool idea, I guess.
It is a cool idea, but that takes away like. So I've known like a few deaf people, and they say that it's easier to just like have someone talk to them. It's weird.
Read their lips.
Read their lips. Yeah, they're actually really good at reading lips. Now it's not like as fast as they sign, but for someone who's like, you know, grown up deaf like she has, it's weird not to have her read lips. So
Well, he still talks. It's not like it interprets his speech. It's not like
Yeah.
I guess
it reads his mind and
So they have a dinner, like he's like doing what he did in New York, where they have a dinner on Sunday night. He brings her favorite cookies, and she's like, and then she's like, I'll open some wine, but drains it down the thing. So they
the
have to drink-
cookies she accepted.
No,
I don't know. She didn't fling the
she
cookies.
kept the cookies because like, he's like your favorite cookies, and she
Yeah,
was like,
why did she pour the wine out? I don't understand why she did that.
I don't know why she poured the wine out though.
And she wanted Shasta.
I thought she was gonna like hit him over
That's
the head
also-
with a bottle or something.
She
She's
loves
really-
Dr. Pepper because she drank
Sure,
it the whole
they
time.
had their cans.
She was craving Shasta, and she didn't want wine.
no one craves
Um,
Shasta, Joseph. No one craves that.
So he gives her cookies, and he's like, "Oh, hey man,
I know
we're
it's
good, right?"
not Sunday, but we can have dinner on Thursday.
And he's like, "You want an empire? You can lead my."
You could have just asked.
Yeah.
I'm ready to retire. Just
yeah, I'm
come back with
old.
me.
He gives her the knife, but he doesn't stab her. He flips it over, and he's like, "Come on my side. Come back to me."
And then Thanos appears and he's like, "That's balanced."
Also, why did he have like? Because he like had the silverware in that bag, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Why did he have a knife? All he brought was wine and cookies.
Did he not bring cheese? I thought he brought cheese.
There is
food.
2 takeout containers.
Is there 2
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was confused. I'm like, why did he only bring wine and cookies for dinner? I'm like,
That's to start the dinner.
That's the cookie of,
you
that's
always
dinner of
start with wine and
champions.
wine and cookies.
wine and cookies. There you go.
She's like, I don't know. I'll think about it. He wants her to come back to New York and leave Oklahoma. This doesn't seem so bad to me, but that's just me.
No one. Wants
And then I have grandma written down. I guess she goes and talks to
Yeah.
she goes to talk to
Grandma.
grandma, right? And learn
Yeah.
all
I
about
actually
her
like this scene a lot. The
learn
grandma's
about
performance of that was
her-
good.
heritage.
She's been having those visions and she needs answers. So the uncle or whatever he is like, you got to go talk to grandma.
This is the
Okay.
like the one scene where she emotes.
Yeah.
I thought.
Okay, I have a question. I'm trying to get this clear. So so her mom is her grandma's kid, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Is she white?
No.
No.
The mom isn't white.
No.
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 I could have sworn she was white.
No.
No.
What about the last scene? She's not white at all.
I know.
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell. The other thing is like her name is Lopez, right?
I don't
Maya
know.
Lopez, yeah.
Is her dad Mexican?
No.
Maybe.
Because he
I don't
looks like really Native American. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know that. Maybe maybe the mom was Mexican. I don't know.
No.
I don't
What?
know.
I
that's
mean,
what I
it's
was
not.
asking. Like
It's not uncommon where a lot of Native Americans have Hispanic names.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's-
you guys don't look Hispanic, but I know you are. But I mean,
Yeah.
and the same goes for me. But I was just like, I mean, they obviously got like Native American actors. Like, who's Mexican here? So
I don't know.
I swore I thought the mom was white. I apologize.
Yeah.
no.
Gotta get my eyes checked. I mean, already, but
So that anything else for episode 4 or that scene where she's kind of explaining the powers?
Yeah, I like
Sort
that scene.
of.
I'll say that.
but what are her powers though?
I don't know.
She gets
can
the
channel,
abilities
yeah, the
of the
abilities.
ancestors.
But what
So
are those
she can
abilities though?
She can
She
shoot.
can shoot a gun.
She can win a lacrosse match.
But
What,
she can
what
already
can't
shoot a
you?
gun.
What can't you
It's
do
like,
with?
come on,
She can
Kingpin.
already
Let's
she can
play.
already fight. So what are her powers?
She can lift the cave up.
Yeah, I
As
just
we
got-
saw
I
with
just
the
got that they gave him
train.
like superpowers. Really, like all it seemed was like super strength.
Her-
She can heal because she can do that thing.
True, they did do the
Oh, yeah.
why you say heal.
God, well, oh no. Okay, we'll get to that.
She can.
Her mom can gift life back to animals.
Her hands glow,
They call her the Star Child.
and she
Portable
can make
flashlight? Or not portable, but
she can make other people's hands glow, which we'll learn
Mhm.
in the.
I'm upset with that. I don't.
Yeah, same.
We'll get to that
yeah,
because
Well, you wanted to know the powers, and I'm just answering
the
questions.
first.
Well, I'm sorry.
four-
I'm getting angry now.
So I go through this series. The first four, I give this series like a 5. I mean, it's not bad. It's just kind of boring. Then we get to episode 5, which is called which got to be one of the worst Marvel episodes of all time. It starts off with a woodpecker. Maya's outside as a young child. She sees a cool woodpecker, and what does she do?
She's like,
She
die.
shoots it with a slingshot.
evil from birth.
You know how hard it is to see woodpeckers? I mean, any birder will tell you that's one of the hardest birds to find in nature.
Birder.
Also, her mom knows she's a psycho because
Yeah.
she's like, "Do you shoot this bird?" And she's like,
Yeah.
"I didn't think it would hit it." The mom's like,
Well, she tries to lie. She's like, I found this bird. It was
Yeah.
her. She's like, are you sure? And she's like, I didn't mean to hit it.
Lock that
I will
kid
say
up.
that's a very kid answer. Like, I didn't mean to hit it, but you know, I didn't shoot at it.
Just want to know what would happen if I hit it. That's all.
And the mom's like, dang, you're a psychopath. And Maya's like, we can bring it back, right? And she's like, yeah, we'll make it stronger and faster. And they
"Watch my cool powers, child."
turn it into a
Punch her
cyborg
wrist
and
and,
it can fly at supersonic speeds.
It flies in slow motion, just like
She draws a transmutation
Yeah.
circle, and she's like,
You just see a bird in the background drop. Dang it.
"That's a quickly exchange, Maya. Get used to it."
some kid across the street just passes out.
Oh god.
$600 million
Timmy on his bike
woodpecker.
just
Maya's mom's arm is now metal.
Oh God, what is it? It's pushing up Daisy or pushing daisies. The mom just
it's
like drops dead from
tips over.
exchange.
Oh my.
Oh man, so the woodpecker's okay. Is that the same one we're seeing the whole time? I guess so.
think
I don't know, but the thing is, like, the woodpecker showed up like at
He's
the very
part of the
beginning,
family.
right?
Yeah.
I
It
don't
has a
know.
little piece of the mom's soul.
Yes.
It's
It's like you guys don't watch anime.
to the internal woodpecker. And then the grandma goes to the grandpa's shop, and she's like, "Man, I could really use a sewing machine." And he's
She's like, "You kept it?" And he's like, "Oh yeah,
"Yeah."
I knew
And then
you'd
it's
be
like-
back."
Then sexy music starts playing. And he's like, "Hey, maybe we can get together more than just this time."
Hey man, if you never ask,
And then we get the iconic scene of the Kingpin at a post office. Because I know we've all been itching to see that.
talking about Native American jewelry.
Yeah. And she's like, we're going to have our yearly powwow. And he's
Powwow.
like, oh, that's very interesting. Tell me more about this. And she's like, well, you know, my daughter was deaf. And her daughter was deaf. And he's like, you don't say.
Was her daughter deaf? Because she was talking
Yeah.
like normal though.
Oh, yeah. When she asked about the ice cream and stuff.
Yeah. And that's what I was confused about because, like, in the comics, Echo's able to talk, just like talk like we talk. And then, but she's not in here. But then she's like, oh, yeah, my daughter was deaf. I was like, daughter, like, is Echo her daughter? But then it's like, my granddaughter's deaf too. I'm like, okay, who was deaf? Who's deaf?
That's true. Didn't the mom talk?
Yes, she talked a lot.
Maybe
Doesn't she talk
she's
to
the canonical
Echo.
Echo.
and the child is like Echo MCU Disney version.
That is confusing now that we talk about it.
We were fine till you brought it up, Thomas.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Thomas.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We were just enjoying our Kingpin in the post office show.
Kingpin runs a UPS store.
Cheese or cookies and wine. That's all I cared about, Thomas. Cheese.
Then we get a biscuit scene.
Oh gosh. Oh, we missed the did we miss the biscuit
did.
scene where
We did.
the mom? Hold on, we gotta rewind to the previous episode. The grandma and the granddaughter are talking, have their emotional moment. Then for some reason that song plays and it's very not fitting and very out of place. Like I'm like, this isn't really the emotional song I feel like fits here. But then it continues on through several scenes, including a car junkyard where Biscuit talks about going and not getting lost, but we're still having this emotional song playing in the background. That was bad. That was really bad.
And then the junkyard guy's like, it's all yours. Everything the light touches.
That was a weird progression of scenes. Right
I did like that one scene where Biscuit or the grandma was delivering mail, and then Biscuits was driving along in the car
Yeah.
or the
Oh,
truck that was
yeah.
wrecked. He's just like,
And then he goes to get it fixed, but he has to put the word out. Like, he needs
$100
some
for
money.
PS5.
Yeah.
Man.
He needs a PS5
PS4.
sold.
Yeah, it was a 4, not a 5.
PS4, sorry.
And he's
But-
looking to sell it because he needs some money, and it's down to the low price of $100.
Because you can super rig a massive truck for $100.
Yeah, for some chump change.
Yeah.
Biscuits is at the powwow. He's running security. Well, he's running parking. He's
Parking.
telling people where
Yeah.
to park. The British bald guy comes and he's like, I'm gonna park right there. And Biscuits is like, no, that's the vendor parking. You have to go over there. And he's like, I'm going right there. And Biscuits is like, maybe if you had a tag, I could let you park right there. And then he just drives and parks right there. And
And he's like, I got a call by it. This guy was
Biscuits has
unruly.
no power.
Yeah, Biscuits has no power. He calls the uncle and he's like, dude, there's a creepy guy here.
There's a white guy
look
here, and I
for
don't know
the-
why.
Yeah. The white population of this powwow is crazy. Echo,
Dude, the white people showed up. Oh my god.
Echo gets her super suit, I guess you would call it.
Can we talk
Her
about super
cosplay
suits
shirt?
nowadays?
Suit.
They all look the exact same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
There's
It's always a
no-
vest.
Yeah,
It's always a red vest. I'm like,
some like textured weaved clothing. That's it. Just different
It
shade of
didn't-
color.
it's so ugly.
It's
it did
bad.
not look good at all. Like, okay,
No.
her Hawkeye like biker outfit at the very end looked cooler than this. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but it was like it just looks like
This
It's like
looks
Marvel's like, I don't want to design a whole costume vest.
Yeah, they did the Eternals. They were like, that was so easy. Let's do it all like that.
it's like if there was a Native American character on Power Rangers, that's what it would
Yeah.
look like.
I don't know. The Sentai suits look better than this, man. Like,
I know, but they wouldn't have put her in that. They would give her her own suit. So there's a showdown at the powwow. There's Maya's like,
no
the-
cowboys though. Dang
no, bunch of bad guys have taken her family hostage, so she's gonna go fight them. King-
Just her grandma and cousin, the
Yeah.
female cousin, not the other two cousins, because
they're outside.
everybody's related to here
The
apparently.
one got
Oh, they're
caught
outside
already.
because they have to deal with the bald guy who's got a rocket launcher.
Yeah, that's sitting on top of the camper with the
RV.
rocket launcher. Like, don't worry, I'm not conspicuous.
He's got like his beers to the side.
Yeah.
his rocket
Go
launcher.
cooler.
That's just some white guy crap, you know. They do that.
It's Oklahoma, guys. So they have a fight.
Do they have a fight?
Kinda. She
Can
gives
we
her
call this a
grandma
fight?
some powers, and the
Oh,
grandma
this is what I was upset about.
people.
Can we call this a
She's,
fight?
the grandma's like, your powers is that our ancestors echo to you, but apparently it can echo to anyone in the family, so we don't
Just
really even need
Passes
you.
around. Yeah.
made me
So
so
the-
mad. I was like, this is pointless. You could have just had the grandma fight everyone. I would have liked it more.
The grandma did fight more. Like she like fought half the people in there, and it was
She's
very
like,
awkward.
Oh, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh.
And she's like, oh.
And then we got a Aragon series ending with Galbatorix, but instead it was the Kingpin that had to learn his wrong ways. Or no, he
Oh,
had
man.
to face his fears. of
She's
his
like,
past.
put the
Heal.
hammer down, give it to me.
It can heal his heart.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So she like touches his face, and he remembers his dad beating him up or something like that. And she's like, "Let go of that." And he's like,
Well-
what did you do to
And
me?"
he's like, you haven't given up your stuff yet. And she's like, I know, but this isn't about
Doesn't
me.
matter.
I'm killing the white man.
Well, like the reason that he got angry was because his dad was beating his mom. Like
yeah.
that's why he killed him.
Oh,
Biscuits, they call him and they're like, "You got a weapon, Biscuits?" And he's like, "I got something better." And he comes in a monster truck and crushes the bad guy.
that's the MCU version of a rated M for TV show. Is a monster truck rolling over. Oh
They
my.
didn't even kill anybody. They're just like, oh no,
Jerry Seinfeld, come on, where's the dad?
where's the dad?
Oh man.
What's the problem with monster trucks?
It doesn't even really heal the Kingpin. He just freaks out.
Yeah,
What
he's
did
just
you
like-
do?
He's just
Freak-
befuddled.
he freaks out and then like kind of like hobbles into the parking lot and hops in a Suburban. It's just
Yes.
like waiting
It was like the end of Jungle the Jungle when they're freaked out by the spider and they're like, just get in the car and go.
And the valet's waiting for them. Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Let's go. So he drives off, and everyone's like, "Maya, you're the hero, I guess."
Take Oklahoma. Nobody wants it.
I didn't watch the after credit scenes. Did you guys?
I
There's
didn't know there
nothing
was
there.
one.
I did. What the heck?
Wait,
happened?
there was something there?
Yeah, there was.
Oh,
It has
gosh.
to do with the Kingpin. I read it. So the
Michael looks like he
Kingpin-
saw it because
I
he's.
did. I don't
covering his-
remember.
He's
Oh.
like watching the news or something like that, and they talk about they need a mayor in New York. Or
Oh
something like
yeah,
Oh,
because it's leading to him. I thought it was. Honestly, I was kind of a little confused. I couldn't tell if it was the mayor of New York or the president. It was one thing. He's going to run for office of some sort. is what it
Yeah.
was.
which happens in the comics. So
Yeah.
becomes
he doesn't
mayor.
become president, right? That was
No, it's
that was
mayor
Luther.
of-
That's
that was
there you
Luther,
go, that's what I'm
right?
thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it gotta be
mayor
yeah.
of New York, and
Okay.
Yeah, so he's like, I simultaneously love that actor as Kingpin, but at the same time, I can't help but laugh at him.
Yeah.
I love Vincent D'Onofrio, but this was like they didn't give him anything to work with.
He's like,
no,
"Yes,
no.
I could be a good leader for the people. I will do this." And his eyes like still effed up. And you're like, okay, you do it, buddy. They're gonna vote for you.
It's okay, buddy. You'll be fine.
I didn't.
And that, my friends, is the 5 episodes of X.
Was it just 5?
Can we start with the positives?
Okay, cool. Now we're moving on.
No positives?
I can't think of anything good to
Um,
say about this, except for maybe the first episode and the second episode were like, eh. But besides that, I got nothing.
I will
Besides-
say,
Besides Biscuits being adorable. That's about it.
take the dialogue out of it. The performances I thought were good because I like most of the actors in this. But the dialogue in this is just terrible. It's just like just terrible straight through.
What dialogue?
And then
Sorry to go back to the show. Did they just have her go to a diner just to get her out of town so people could
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
come in? Because she sat down, got coffee, and they're like, "Hey, you got to go," and then she left. I was like,
Immediately left.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
See.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like she was going to leave, but then
Yeah.
like, oh,
She's still driving around.
I
Yeah.
vaguely remember that.
Mm.
I don't know. The other good thing I would say is take the choreography out of it. But like the actual shots I liked a lot. Like that one, even though it was absolutely pointless, where the person's hanging in the middle of the rink, whatever. That was a cool shot with the thing. And then like Thomas said with the plastic, that was cool. Just like, but the actual fighting wasn't cool or what they did in the shots, but the shots were cool. So yeah, just the actors and yeah. I
Any
actually
pros?
I honestly
Oh.
didn't like everyone's poo pooing on this a lot. I didn't think this isn't a good show, but I didn't mind watching it, honestly. I found it interesting while I was
It
watching it,
was
but definitely hope for more. And nothing made sense or had any
if-
like purpose or leading into what, like we were talking about, her motives made zero sense whatsoever. And then the
Yeah.
ending was just pointless and made zero sense.
That's
So-
true. I didn't hate it. I just it
Yeah,
wasn't good.
Yeah, it's
I
like,
didn't hate it. It's just if it was longer, I would have hated it.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. thing it
So
was
if we take the dialogue, the action, and most of the performances out, we'd have a all right show. Is that what we're saying?
I feel like
I like
mostly everyone did well, acting wise.
they had good actors. They just
Yeah.
have good writers.
Yeah, it was just bad dialogue.
I like the beginning of the theme song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's-
Mhm.
I
I was
just
gonna say
didn't
that's
like-
a pretty good theme song.
it's
Yeah,
enjoyable.
I
A
didn't
little
like
different.
the chorus of that as
Mhm.
much as I did the beginning, but
I skipped it honestly every time. I didn't hear it.
It was refreshingly different. Like,
Yeah.
I've been watching Percy Jackson, and it starts, and I'm like, is it Percy Jackson? I can't remember. There's something I was watching, and I was like, this literally sounds like everything I've heard for the past 5 to 6 years. Like, good lord,
yeah.
it's terrible.
And this is by the yeahs, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
the no's.
So yeah, it starts with the piano, which is good, and the drum comes in, it's good, but the chorus is not that great. So half a song good.
It was a fine song. It's
Good actors, good some shots. Daredevil looked cool.
He did look cool.
Oh yeah, well, Daredevil was the hook. Like every promotional thing that you saw for this show was Echo versus Daredevil, deaf versus blind. And he's in here for a total of 90 seconds, if that.
I'm about to say if that.
So what? This show should have been easy for Marvel because they're looking to make an M-rated show. With little, you could shoot this with as cheap as you shot probably Daredevil. I'm guessing. You didn't need any of the powers. Get rid of all that backstory stuff. Make it just about a hit person going back home. How many times have we seen that?
Yeah.
That's pretty easy to do. So here's how I fix it. Maya shoots the Kingpin like in Hawkeye, okay? And then she's in New York and she's like, okay, I'm going to take over his turf. I'm going to be the Queenpin. But then someone like Bullseye comes in and just like beats the crap out of her. And she's like, and then tells her like, hey, the Kingpin's not dead. So that
They even have a Bullseye that's supposedly gotten like rebuilt from Daredevil season 3.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, have Bullseye in there, beat the crap out of her, scares her. She runs back to her family in Oklahoma, reconnects with them. Maybe the uncle's still a little bad. Like that's the one person she's kind of angry at because he was. She blames him for getting her father killed.
Was the roller rink guy like her uncle?
Yeah,
she was related to.
I thought that was her cousin, like another cousin.
that was her dad's brother.
That was her dad's brother. Okay,
Yeah.
I couldn't keep the family member straight here.
Yeah, so you have her kind of reconnect with her family. Kingpin finds out she's in Oklahoma, sends some guys to get her, but she beats them up.
Kingpin's like, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Sends people there to get her, but then he goes over there and is like, hey, I got a deal for you. Cut all your ties with your family, kill your uncle, and then come back and you can have New York. But then she rejects it. And then you get the last scene where he kidnaps the whole family and he's like, okay, I still got a deal for you. Come back to New York or I won't kill your family. And she considers it and she's like, this is never going to end. So I got to sacrifice this new family love that I found and go back with the Kingpin because that's the only way they'll be safe. That ends the series and then sets up the Daredevil series because she can kind of be on the inside for Daredevil. So that is how you fix that show. It would have been way cheaper. You didn't have to have the stupid powers, which really hurt the show.
You could have made it like M-rated and have like a ton of like violence in it too. like
Yeah.
Daredevil.
Like just do Daredevil again.
Yeah.
That style of violence.
I think that's more of why I'm so mad is I was expecting like an offshoot of Daredevil and this
Yeah.
is not Daredevil.
It should have been that Daredevil universe. Instead, we got the MCU version of Daredevil, which is not good.
Not great.
But yeah, so this show was kind of disappointing. Not kind of, it was disappointing, but like we said, it's not terrible. It's just not good.
At least Daredevil had that scene where Bullseye threw the plate at Daredevil and went badoing like a cartoon. That was hilarious.
Is it
That made the
about-
whole show.
You're talking
Yeah.
about
I never
the
finished season
show
3.
or the?
Yeah, the show.
I remember that part.
I
of the
don't
show.
even remember Bullseye and
I remember that in the freaking
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, where he like throws the plate and it hits him in the throat. He's like, oh,
Yeah, but in the show, I don't know if it was Bullseye. It was just like
Oh, just like
the dude he was fighting. I don't know his bad guys. But they're in the church. He threw the plate. It made a Looney Tunes sound, and I was like, "That's great."
That's great.
that's good
All
stuff
right.
right there.
Okay, you guys got any last words on Echo?
Oh, are we done? I thought we were just doing the positives real quick.
Do you want to do the
I feel
negatives?
like we did negative the whole episode. What else you got?
Yeah. You got more negatives?
I mean, we could, but if that's all, okay.
What you got?
What you got?
Okay. This show was the most boring show I've ever seen in my life. I did not enjoy the pacing. I don't understand why the actors had to whisper the whole time they were talking to Echo. When
And it's
in
also
Hawkeye,
inconsistent too.
yeah, but in Hawkeye, they're just talking to her like a normal person talks because, what difference does it make that they're deaf? So why do you have to whisper when you're doing this? Like, if you're just going to talk, or if you're not going to talk, just sign, but don't whisper. Like, what's that? I feel like all of the dialogue was missing from this show because they just kept it in instead of just like having somebody talk. I'm just like, just talk, just freaking talk. That's all you got to do. The fight scenes in this were atrocious. I'm sorry, but that ending scene with the grandma fighting was the
Yeah.
stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. The powers didn't make any difference, like Jared was saying. Like, what's the point of the powers then? Like, okay, cool. Like, all right. I just don't understand what her powers were, if they're supposed to be anything. They added the actress has an amputee leg, but they kind of centered the show around her just having the amputee leg, and it's just like, why? What's with that? It's just I don't understand what they wanted to do with this show because nothing seemed to happen in this show whatsoever.
She really didn't have any character development.
No, there was more development in Hawkeye in like the side parts of those like 3 episodes I think she's in than there was this entire show. Otherwise, it's just her being moody and
Mhm.
driving around on a motorcycle and like that.
And she's not on a redemption arc to be a
No.
good guy now.
She just
She
wanted to
wanted
be-
to just take over Kingpin's thing.
Yeah, what she only did in 1 episode, and the rest of it's just like, oh, I'm in Oklahoma now. Cool. And it's like, okay, cool. What are we doing here? But I have no idea where this series left off. Like, I don't remember what she's doing at the end of the series. I just remember the fight and I checked out. I'm like, okay, this is terrible. And then also her trying to heal Kingpin's heart, I think was that. I'm like, okay, did he turn into the Grinch? Like, what's that about? So I
don't remember what she was doing at the end of this. I guess she was just with the family, right?
she's just with her family, I think, riding on her motorcycle. I'm just like,
Oh, okay.
They
could replace
went
that
to
with any
the
other scene
grandma's
in this.
house, and they were drinking Dr. Pepper again.
were they?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, she shows up in the backyard. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. See, that's the thing. I don't remember how this series ended. It's just like it's a very just blah series, and I'm really happy it was only 5 episodes, and each episode was like 20 something minutes and not longer.
Yeah, it
'cause
wasn't very long.
I could not have gotten through this show if it was longer.
there's a lot of unresolved things, like her meeting back up with the cousin.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
That just fell through because
that didn't resolve anything between them.
just a bunch of other things, and I was just like, okay, I guess there's another season coming. I don't know.
Doubt it.
I doubt they know
Uh-huh.
right now.
It doesn't feel planned out at all. So I have no idea what they were doing with this. But that's all I got.
Jared, do you want to say your last words on it?
No, I felt like I was pretty negative. I didn't really care for this. I just want to know why she poured out the wine. They didn't give any context or like reasons
she didn't
why.
want him to have the wine.
That's not a reason, Jules. I don't want your reason.
Came highly recommended.
Yeah, good year.
Though it looked like he got it from Walmart. So just saying.
Maybe.
Where are you gonna get fancy wine in Oklahoma, Thomas?
I
Walmart.
don't know. There's a lot of like artisans in Oklahoma because land's cheap up there. So you never know.
They went to a casino for some reason.
Yeah, but barely showed it.
The Kingpin stayed at a casino.
He's like, "This is my hammer. You can kill me if you want me to."
It's just like, just because they're Native Americans, you got to go to a casino, I guess. That seemed kind of not very nice, but okay. Yeah. I guess we've said what we've said about this show, unless anyone wants to add anything. Nope. Okay. So that is it for Echo. We will be back next time. Like, subscribe, and notify yourself for even more good stuff. And we will see you next time. Bye.